And we are live. Cindy Ashton here with the amazing.
Hello, it's Christina Daves, and we are so excited that you're joining us today. Cindy and I, if you've been following us, you know we're putting together this amazing event in Dallas, Texas in August, where we are going to get shit done. We're going to actually pitch the media while you're there. We're going to connect with influencers while you're there. We're going to create amazing videos, and you're actually going to film them there. We're going to do social media posts that get people to stop scrolling. And as part of this, Cindy and I have brought in some of our A-lister rock star friends to help out. So today we are doing our first big reveal. I'm so excited. He is a multiple Emmy and Edward R. Murrow Award-Winning Journalist, and he is a rock star in the PR space right now. Please welcome my dear friend, Jeff Crilly of Real News PR.
I am so thrilled to be a part of this. This is amazing.
We're so excited to have you here, Jeff.
Well, the energy, I mean, I'm surprised we haven't set off the fire alarm. There is one going on right now.
Jeff and I did a live stream together when I was down there. My husband said, you guys should do a TV show together. Like, your energy is so good. So imagine all of us in the same room. Jeff is going to come in. We're going to be doing, if you're a VIP, and you can check out Captivate and Cash In live and see what you'll get as a VIP that extra day where we're going to go into the studios. But for everybody, for 2 days, I talked about all the things we're going to be doing, and Jeff is going to come in and help you nail your media pitches. And Jeff, I would love for you to just give a little bit about your background and what you do now, because what you do now, nobody does. And it's really going to help these people land in the media.
Thank you very much. So I was a television reporter for 25 years, Lansing, Omaha, Minneapolis, and my last stop was Dallas. I wrote a book in 2002 called Free Publicity, A TV Reporter Shares the Secrets for Getting Covered on the News. I had this crazy speaking spree of 2 speeches a day for 6 straight years. I sold 70,000 copies of this book while still a TV reporter, and my business was born. So I started this all-journalist PR firm in Dallas in 2008. I wake up now with 20 full-time employees, more than 140 clients. And it's events like this one that we're talking about that really are my jam, because I love to talk about PR. I love to talk about the finer art of pitching. And so I'm so thrilled that I'm a part of this one.
It's going to be, so you're going to come in, and you and I are going to actually together, and Cindy, of course, too, but this is, our expertise. We're going to work with our attendees to create media pitches that are relevant right this second. So they can literally hit send and hopefully land in the media right away. And, there's no guarantees, but when you craft a good pitch, so why don't you give everyone watching now an idea of a great idea? You can tell them about your rundown that you do every day, because this is your expertise, your jam is newsjacking. You're amazing at it.
Thank you. Thank you. So if I was going to give one tip, it's pay attention to the news. If you're going to pitch the news or pitch a journalist, you have to pay attention. And I run into a lot of people who say, oh, I don't watch the news anymore. Well, you got to watch a little news, at least Google around to find which reporter would be most likely to tell your story. So when you do come up with an idea, and we'll help them with, crafting the pitch when they're here, but you have to pay attention to the news. Think about the reporter that you're going to be pitching and pay attention to them. Nothing is better than a pitch that begins, Sally, comma, I love that story you did yesterday on blah, blah, blah. Because the journalist has an ego. We all do, right? And so it's a specific compliment on something that this journalist did. It doesn't look like a press release. It feels like a conversation with somebody who's going to be a good news source. So if I had to give one tip on this call, just to whet everybody's appetite, is start to think about which reporter is most likely to tell my story. Pay attention to them, start following them, even following them on LinkedIn and Twitter and Facebook, and starting to comment even before you've pitched them. And then when you finally do pitch them, you'll be like, oh yeah, that's that nice person who always comments on my posts. And that's a quick and easy secret to winning reporters.
And this comes from you as a former reporter. You're not, this is what Cindy and I always say, we walk this walk every day in our life. So you are on the other side of that, where you know what it feels like to be shown the love. And those are the people that journalists want to work with.
Absolutely. In fact, I remember a relationship that started with a comment. Somebody wrote me an email while I was at Fox 4 in Dallas, and the subject line was, Jeff, you should wear more blue because your eyes really pop when you wear blue. And that was the subject line. And I was like, wow, you've got my attention. So I got on the phone with her, and she had an intelligent pitch. And I think my memory is that I ended up doing that story and then further stories. And it all began with a compliment on my eyes. So it doesn't take much to get the conversation going, but almost look at this as a speed dating session with reporters. You're learning how to go out on a date. And the best way to go out on a date is not to bore them with you, but to compliment them on them. Does that make sense?
That is the best piece of advice you could give. That's exactly it.
And we have Andrea Bullard, who's a badass in her own right. She's awesome. And she says, wow, this is amazing. And I totally agree. You have to give the reporter love. And this is coming, like Christina said, from an Emmy Award-winning reporter for 25 years. Like, he's the guy that you'd be pitching to. And the other piece of this is what you said about being relevant. A lot of people really put in these pitches or put in like a 10 paragraph about what they overcame. And it's like, wow, that's really cool. But you just wasted 10 minutes of my time to read this 10 paragraph thing. And I don't know how this is relevant to today's news or how this is relevant to my specific TV show or article. And a lot of people are like, but I'm so inspirational. And I'm like, great, we all are. Can you give me the right pitch?
I couldn't agree with you more.
Coming out now.
when I was in the news business, I was getting so many emails and so many overly commercial press releases that if I got an email that was too long, it looked difficult to me. It looked like, gosh, this looks like a lot of reading. Sometimes I just do a pitch to get the journalist on the phone, and I'll say, Jane, loved your story from yesterday. Possible follow-up ? And then you give her a specific compliment on the story she did yesterday. Why did you like it? And then say, hey, I have a possible follow-up for that story. Call me when you get a second. Here's my phone number. That's powerful because it suggests, okay, I know who you are. I know what you do. This is a follow-up to a story you did, which means your station already green lighted it or your newspaper already green lighted it. And this is a follow-up to that. So journalists are always, I'm going to say, suckers for compliments and follow-ups because there's always things that they missed in the first story.
And I would love to jump on that just quickly because people are watching this and I know what you're thinking. No journalist is going to call me. I can't call them. Like, they're these scary people. But like you said, this is their job. And if you can make their job easier for them, they will welcome you into their tribe. And Jeff, from both sides of the desk, you've been the journalist where you've built those relationships and now you're pitching for people and you're creating new relationships and they really do take your calls and they really do call you back. That's a real thing.
And the thing that I'll say is that so many PR people are kind of hiding behind emails these days that journalists actually don't talk to a lot of PR people. They get a bunch of pitches, but they don't talk to a lot of people. And I'm a big fan of the old-fashioned phone call. And because these reporters aren't getting inundated with phone calls anymore, they're actually probably easier to pitch than they were when I was in the business.
I love it. So Jeff, a couple of things really quickly. Lisa Joe says, super inspiring. You give us so many great ideas. Thanks, Lisa. That was specifically to me, but I know she means it for all of us. Jeff, one of the things that Christina and I run against a lot, because you talked about press releases and how you tune them out. We see a lot of people out there saying, well, I did my press release and now I was on ABC, NBC, all this stuff. I don't need more press. I don't need to work with you two. Or we see a lot of other people in our industry selling these press releases and suddenly you're going to be famous. What is the problem? Lisa says yes to Jeff too. What is the problem with press releases?
Truthfully, the problem is that most of them are too self-serving to ever warrant coverage, and so the journalist who reads it says, "Well, this maybe they should call the sales department because it's not a news story; it's really a sales piece or an advertisement." And then the other thing is that the newsrooms get way too many these days. All of these press release factories on the East Coast get cranked up at about 7 or 8 in the morning Eastern time, and they just fill up every reporter's inbox with lame, overly commercial press releases. And so when clients ask us at Real News PR, will you write a press release? I'll say, we can write press releases, but what is the goal of the press release? Is the goal of the press release to get news coverage or just take up space on Google? Because if you want news coverage, we'll just call the journalist. We don't need to write the press release. I mean, sometimes reporters will say, will you send me some background information on that? But we honestly, we have 50 clients that pay us every month to get them on the news. And we may write one press release a month. I just feel like it's a device that too many people have used for too long and said, I'm going to put the weight of the pitch on this written word. And I'm still an old-fashioned pick up the phone guy. And then the journalist can always say, okay, send that to me. And then you send them more information.
I heard a CNN journalist say that. He's like, I love when people call. Nobody calls me anymore. I like to talk to people. So he even encourages that. And I do that with all of our clients. We have a system that we go through, and part of that system is the follow-up phone call, because that's where the magic happens.
And then once you develop a relationship with these journalists where they know you and they trust you, they'll pick up your phone call every single time. Yep. Sometimes what I'll do, because I just can't help myself, I feel like Michael Jordan with an open basket, so I have to take the shot. A person will come in to interview us as a PR firm and say, do you think this is interesting? Is this something that the media would pick up on? And sometimes what I'll do, even before they've hired me, is say, hold on for a second. Call a reporter that I know that would love the story, walk back in the room with the phone saying, here's channel 8, the reporter wants to talk to you. And they're like shocked, like, wait a minute, I haven't even hired you yet and you're getting me on the news. Well, that comes from me doing my job day in and day out and pitching the media reliably good stories so that when the journalist sees my name and number, they always pick up now. And that's just, respecting the journalists, not wasting their time. There are journalists here in Dallas that were at my wedding. I might pitch them once a year.
I love it.
When I know I've got something rock solid for this reporter, and this reporter would love this story.
I love it. All right. So who watching is getting really excited to come and meet Jeff in person and figure out your media pitches? So we want to remind you again, it's Captivate and Cash In Live. If you have any questions at all, scroll to the bottom and there's a link and you can set up a call with either Cindy or myself. Because we have
let me get that. Hold on. Yeah, you can set up a call if you're feeling inspired that you're ready for real press and to work with Christina, who has been on thousands of press outlets, Jeff, who's a multiple Emmy winner, and even me. I've got my first press interview since I was 13, and I probably have over 1,000 press as well. Book a call with us at visibilityconsultation.com or go to captivatingcashinlive.com. We are so excited, just so blessed that we get to work with you, Jeff, and that our clients get to work with the real deal to get real press, to get real pitches crafted. That makes a difference when you work with the best.
Yeah.
Thanks. And we're going to have fun. I mean, mostly
it's have fun.
Come with your party socks or your party hat or whatever you need to inspire you to get happy, because we're going to have fun.
We're going to have fun. Awesome. Well, we can't wait to see you in person in August. Thank you for coming on with us today. And we are going to rock out some media for everybody.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Jeff, for joining us. We can't wait to see you in August. Bye, everyone.
Bye.